Hi, I'm Amber. Welcome back to the channel and I hope you're doing well today, and welcome to one of my special birthday videos that I wanted to do, kind of like an ask me anything, get to know me better kind of video. I didn't think about the fact that by doing this I'm not reacting to anything, so I should probably like be full screen. I'm very uncomfy with this because I'm quite self-conscious about how I look, and I also have a very bad quality camera, which is harder for you to tell that when I'm itty bitty. So I apologize for the crappy quality and having to stare at my face taking up your whole screen. Thank you so much to everyone who submitted something. I think in the end the Google form had like nearly 80 replies, which is about 80 more than I thought I was gonna get. So I was really pleasantly overwhelmed. So thank you so much. That was really sweet. There's some really interesting questions in here. I've written them all out and we're just going to go through them one by one and I'll try to answer them the best I can. Alright, let's get started. This is quite an interesting one to get because one of the other videos that I'm doing for my birthday is reacting to K-pop. I am very new to the K-pop scene. I was introduced to BTS and then I was introduced to Stray Kids, and that's about all of the exposure that I've had, except for the occasional song or two that people have recommended. So one of the things I will be doing this week is taking all of your recommendations that have been sent through and giving them a go, and I'll react to them. I would definitely like to keep doing that in the future. I've really had a lot of fun reacting to Stray Kids content on my channel. Because I've been doing the BL stuff for quite a while now, I'm quite good at knowing about upcoming stuff and what maybe might be interesting to react to or to watch. That's not really the case with K-pop. I'm not in the right circles to be finding out like about new stuff coming out and things that people might want to see me react to. So just like with BL, it's kind of a case of if you want to see me react to something K-pop related, just let me know. Maybe I'll check it out. This is a complicated one to answer because there were some members when I first learned about Stray Kids that I didn't really pay any attention to at all, and I really kind of focused on my biases. Han was my first bias. I really related to him with his anxiety, and he was so funny in some of the clips and compilations that I watched. He really made me laugh a lot. I remember not really warming to Seungmin very well to begin with. He was quite savage. he can say some quite savage things. And there was this whole thing about like him not getting along with Lino, and I think I misunderstood that and took it very seriously that they really didn't get along. I didn't really have too much of an opinion on the other people. I think I'm mostly just focused on like Han, and I really liked IN quite quickly too as well. Versus now, now I'm OT8. I don't like to say that I have a bias, because as soon as I say I bias this one person, the other 7, like, they're just in my mind, and I'm like, but I can't say that because I love this about this person and this about this person. And it just felt wrong to say that I preferred one over the others, because I have so many things that I love about all of them. I have definitely warmed up to Seungmin by now. I think that you know, I understand their dynamics with each other a lot better. And yeah, there are members that I really didn't think anything of, like Chan, for example, who I now have great respect for. I can really understand more about how talented they are, and the kind of work that goes into what they do. I understand their personalities a lot better. So they've now all kind of got something that I love about them, and it kind of makes me proud of them and stuff like that. So it's a lot more equalized now. I think that's it. Like, my first impressions to begin with was there's this one person that I love, and now it's kind of like I love all of them so much, so much. If you could pick 3 BLs and they're the only ones you're allowed to watch for the rest of your life, which are you picking and why? I have to give up all other BLs. Hang on, I'm gonna need to see what BLs I've watched. I'm gonna need to narrow it down a little bit. I've watched a lot of series now, huh? Okay, I'm only allowed to watch 3 of these for the rest of my life. The others all have to go. Not me, has to make it. It's because I don't just consider it a BL, like it is, but it's so much more than that. And it's got such a really cool concept and a really in-depth plot. There's a lot of episodes there to work with, there's a lot of characters. I think it has to be Not Me, The Eclipse, and Until We Meet Again. And I know Until We Meet Again is not one of my top 5 shows. I know. But it has been a Shiny Line show before the top 5 became a thing. And it's very close with Never Let Me Go. They're basically tied. But Until We Meet Again, there's something kind of quite nostalgic about it for me. It was kind of the start of Win Team, my obsession with the good boy line. It started all of that. The Eclipse, I mean, I absolutely love First Cow. I love Akayan. It's got Khan in it. Neo, come on, like it's gotta be, right? I think at the moment at least I would say it's Not Me, The Eclipse, and Until We Meet Again. They are the 3 that I would pick. And I would be devastated to lose all the rest of them, but that is how it would be. I'm a very practical person, so the first thing I was thinking of was like, which 2 would be the most likely to be able to help me get off the island? So I was thinking of it in terms of that. Whereas I'm assuming that's not what you mean by the question. By that question, you mean kind of like who would be the most interesting to be with, right? And kind of you would want to talk to and be stuck with and stuff like that. The kind of faves in that sense. Whereas I was thinking in terms of pure survival. The difficulty with this is I don't know the actors very well because I don't like getting involved in kind of the industry side of things and all of the drama and scandals going on, and I don't like getting involved in all of that. So I actually don't know very much about the actors to know whether or not I would get along with them. I would say potentially people I would be most interested in getting to know better would be Neo. You guys know I like Neo. And potentially June, who seems like quite a sweetheart as well. So I would like to get to know them better. If we're talking in terms of like survivability and getting off the island, I would take Jimmy because he's a doctor, and probably Pepper. He seems like quite calm. Well, actually, maybe I'm thinking of Typhoon. I don't know. So I don't know if that's a good call. I would take someone strong but maybe calm in a crisis situation. If it's not Pepper, then maybe like Force or something. I don't know, because he's built like a tank too. Something like that. In terms of survivability, go for like someone physically strong and then a medical professional. But in terms of getting to know them better, it would probably be Neo and June. Top 10 is a lot of movies, fam. um, my favorite movie of all time is Starship Troopers, the first one only. I've probably seen that movie close to 50 times. I watch it several times a year, 2 or 3 times a year for the last 20 years or so. Um, I absolutely adore it. I can basically quote it off by heart. Like as the movie's playing, I can say the lines. I've watched it a lot. I love that movie so much. I really like Train to Busan. I'm gonna have to keep count on my hand. That is a zombie horror film. Which is very cool. It's one of my favorite zombie films. Again, I really recommend it. Hacksaw Ridge is probably another one. That's got Andrew Garfield in it, and it's based on the true story of Desmond Doss, and the story of Hacksaw Ridge. I really like that film. I think it's very well done, and that's one that I come back to every so often. The Martian is another one I come back to very often as well. That is Matt Damon. And again, it's sci-fi based, about an astronaut that becomes stuck on Mars on his own. That's four. I'm up to four. So Hidden Figures follows the story of Catherine Goebel Johnson, uh, Dorothy Vaughan, and I think Mary Jackson are their names. Three female mathematicians in 1961 working at NASA, and overall, I just think it's a really well done movie, and I come back to it again every so often to rewatch it. So I would say that that one makes it two into my top 10. Why'd you make me pick 10? Okay, let's think. Come on, I can do this. I watch movies all the time. One of my favorite childhood movies, While You Were Sleeping. I've known it since I was a very small kid. And it's Sandra Bullock and Bill Pullman, and it's a rom-com. And it's just really sweet, and I would still watch it to this day. I've definitely come back to that one once or twice as an adult as well. It's a really, really sweet movie. Divergent, I think, was one of the ones I put in my top four on Twitter. And again, it's only the first movie, the Divergent movie, not the series. I come back to that one quite often. I really like the romance in that. I really like the romance in that. Maybe White House Down. I really like that movie. And again, that's one I come back to every so often. That is Channing Tatum and Jamie Foxx. And it's just an action movie, and I find it really funny in places. I really like it. Another childhood movie I really love is Father of the Bride 2, specifically 2. The first one is great as well. I've definitely watched both and I like both, but my favourite out of the two is the second one, so I would say Father of the Bride 2. I don't know if I could do one more, but I can tell you about a couple of movies I've seen recently that really surprised me with how much I loved them. I've seen three movies recently that I really, really enjoyed. The first is Red, White, and Royal Blue. I really liked that. The second is Marry My Dead Body. Weirdly, I I didn't think I was gonna like that one, and actually I really did. Don't treat it as a BL. Just treat it as a comedy, and trust me, it's really great. And then I think it's called Love and Monsters. I watched that like a month or two ago, and I really enjoyed that too. So I would say one of those three maybe could go in there. I don't know. 10 is a lot of movies to pick, so you got to bear with me. But I think that's the general idea. Two people specifically got me into K-pop, and they're both my two best friends. One of them is a massive fan of BTS, and then the other one, Stray Kids fan. But that's the general idea, is two besties. One is kind of more BTS, one is kind of more Stray Kids. And that's really what got me into K-pop. And that's just it. It kind of spiraled from there, where I've just kind of become, I love BTS and I'm just obsessed with Stray Kids. And they're the two. And then I said after Stray Kids, I was like, no more, no more groups. And here we are, about to dive into looking at other groups. So that's really what got me into K-pop, was the persistence of my two besties, who I am eternally grateful to for opening this door for me to kind of learn about them. Tell us about your ideal type for romantic partners, and also what kind of friends you like to have, and what kind of people you can't stand. So that's kind of three different questions. I definitely kind of assume I'll be alone forever. But my ideal romantic partner would be someone who I felt was my soulmate. I'm not really the kind of person who believes there's one person for everyone, you know? But I do feel like you can have that feeling about someone, that they are your soulmate and you connect with them that strongly, that you feel like it's like fate that you guys were brought together. And I think I would want to find someone like that, where I felt like we connected so strongly that calling them my soulmate would feel natural, you know? I want to be comfortable around someone. I want them to feel comfortable around me. I want us to be able to trust each other and tell each other everything. I would really want someone to be my best friend. And really that's kind of as deep as it goes. There's not really any kind of specifics about it because I don't I don't think it's ever going to happen for me. I think I'll probably be single for the rest of my life. And that's not a pity party. I'm okay with that. But that's just, I think, the way it's going to be. What kind of friends you like to have? I like to have friends that I feel like I can trust, that are honest with me, people who are kind. I feel like this is all basic stuff. No, this is like I'm putting the bar quite low to the ground, but that's genuinely all I care about. The type of people I can't stand, I'm not a big fan of people who are excessively loud. Like when we're gaming and stuff like that, if they're screaming down the mic and raging and stuff, not a big fan of that. I don't like people who get angry easily, like if they rage at a video game or while driving, stuff like that. I don't like people who have to criticize something or someone in order to defend or promote something they like. I like people who can be respectful of things they don't like. That's the most important thing. If you don't like a show, you can say you don't like it, and you know, that's absolutely fine, but you don't have to hate it. You know, like you can just say this wasn't made for me, and I do that all the time. Even something like Together, I can't stand the series Together, and I've just accepted that it wasn't made for me, and that we're all different people and we all have different tastes. Because of that, there's loads of things being created, and some things are tailored for someone like me, and some are tailored for people who have different tastes and appreciation to me. Just people being toxic in general, I think, is something I'm really past at this point in my life. I don't have the energy for it. I don't like people being overly defensive and toxic and sensitive and stuff like that. Like just everyone chill out, you know? If you're a chill person, I'm gonna get along with you, so I think it's fine. The most serious question that we have on the list, and I didn't know if I wanted to talk about it or not, but I decided to put it in and see how I went. Hi, I get bad anxiety and depression, and I like that you're always honest about your anxiety in your videos. I started watching you with your Kim Porsche videos. There was a lot of anxiety in those. um, I like how genuine you are. Can you talk about how you knew, or when you knew you had anxiety and how you deal with it? Sorry if it's a personal question. It is a personal question, but it's okay. It's the kind of thing that affects you for most of your life. So even at a young age, you kind of pick up on the fact that you're more nervous and timid than everyone else. So I think I've always kind of had an awareness of it. But when I really knew that I had anxiety, so I'm going to be 33 right by the time this video is out. When I was 17, I was in college. I was doing okay. I really was. I didn't really have any issues or anything. It was all routine. And then I had a day where I woke up, and I remember it so vividly. It was a Wednesday. And I had to go to college. And I got to the front door and I couldn't open it. And I was just overwhelmed with the sense of dread and fear, and I just could not go outside. And I couldn't open the door, and I was so terrified of why I wasn't able to do it. I remember calling my mum in tears, like, I can't leave the house, I don't know why. And it led into weeks of me not being able to go out and calling in sick to college. And then after about a month, I felt really bad about constantly calling in sick, and I just dropped out because I didn't know what was going on, and I just felt ashamed calling up every day. And it really was so sudden. It was just overnight. There didn't seem to be a trigger for it. And that was it. That was the start of my mental health battle from 17 until I was about 21, about to be 22, I would say. I had a lot of shit going on, and I feel like I basically lost those 4 to 5 years of my life. A lot of people say that I talk and act like I'm younger than I am, and I always kind of secretly attribute it to the fact that I feel like I lost those 5 years of my life where I just didn't do anything. I didn't socialize, I didn't talk to anyone or go out. And I had a lot of doctors and mental health teams coming in, and I was eventually diagnosed officially with anxiety disorder, depression. I forget how they word it now, but it's like I didn't have psychosis, but I had like the beginning stages of it, and if I continued, then I would end up with psychosis. And really, what that came down to was I had never stayed inside for so long before, and then all of a sudden I had spent nearly a year inside my house without leaving. And suddenly getting cooped up like that, it started to cause me to go a little bit, there was a lot going on, and I ended up with auditory and visual hallucinations, and it was just a really bad time. Really, really bad time. So anxiety, depression, agoraphobia, and basically the onset of psychosis. And I was plastered with medication and treatments, and kind of over the years, with a lot of help and support, I got back to a place where I was able to go back to college, and I had dreams again, and I wanted to go to university, and I did, and it's all kind of been ongoing from there. So really, in terms of when I realized I had anxiety, I mean, the diagnosis came when I was like 17 or 18, and I've just been dealing with it ever since. I do still have the anxiety and I have depression. I obviously still have agoraphobia, but I cope with it a lot better now. So even if I don't go out for kind of 6 months, I don't get like the cooped up feeling. The psychosis stuff is completely dealt with and gone. I've got much better coping strategies and kind of support system in place. So I'm definitely doing a lot better, don't worry. In terms of how I deal with it now, everyone has anxiety to a certain degree. Some people, they just get a bit nervous before going out or doing certain things and stuff like that. And for some people it is debilitating. Having the right coping mechanisms for when you know certain things are going to be difficult. Obviously, I'm not qualified or experienced enough to give you uh professional advice about it, and if it's really kind of debilitating for you, speak to your doctor and stuff. Don't be coming to me for advice. But how I deal with it is just learning about myself and how to cope and things like that, and just staying within my limits. And um one of the things I've done on this channel is kind of push myself out of my comfort zone a little bit and say, okay, this stuff normally really upsets me and makes me cry, but I'm gonna watch it anyway. And yeah, I get upset and I cry. I never challenge myself more than I feel I'm able to handle, so that's the most important thing. On to something a little bit more bright and sunshiny. Um, for a long time, seeing Mount Fuji in Japan was on my bucket list, the very top thing on my bucket list. I would like to go to South Korea at some point. I don't know exactly where, but I would like to go. I'd like to go back to America again at some point. Again, I'm not sure exactly where. I've been to Boston twice, and I've been to Georgia, Atlanta in Georgia once, and they were two very different experiences. um so I don't know exactly where I would want to go in America, but I would love to go back again. I really, really liked it. And I've lived in Canada for a year as well, and I've not been there since I was a teenager. I would love to go back to Canada again as well. Yeah, and other than that, I not really too many places, because I don't I don't predict I'll be traveling much because I don't leave the house. Maybe not for your birthday, but would you react to the Chinese BL The Untamed? It is big and censored, low budget, but it is so beautiful. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Should I look it up real quick? And we're back with your regular schedule of me being tiny. Oh, I think I've seen these people on TikTok in like a TikTok edit with the long hair. Yeah. It was something to do with like one of them protecting another one from a dog or something. Oh, that's blood. Oh, this don't look like a happy ending kind of show, no? Are you recommending me a non-happy ending show? I don't know. I don't want to look at the pictures too much because I might get spoilers or more spoilers than that. I don't know. It's got a 9-point rating out of 10. What the fuck? Have we ever seen a rating that high? Holy shit. I've never watched. Is this a BL? Did you specify? Uh, it is. It's a BL. I've never watched a Chinese BL. 50 episodes? Get the fuck out of here. No fucking way. 45 minutes for each episode, and there's 50 episodes? Are you for real right now? You want me to watch this? I'm gonna be here until I'm 82. And it's on Netflix. Netflix, a lot of these that you can see here, they have anti-screen recording software. Even if you try to take a screenshot of Netflix, or at least if I do, the screen goes black. It won't let you. So I don't know how I would watch it. Is there a way that I can do it? And 50 episodes, fam. I don't know about it. It being censored wouldn't really bother me, to be honest. That's not a huge deal for me. So it's something that I could consider, but the 50 episodes thing I find quite daunting. Well, this is kind of the opposite question to what we had before. Name 3 BLs you would never watch again, the reason why. And if you had to watch one of those 3 with no other choice, what would it be and why? Oh no. Okay, so this is out of, it says never watch again, so this is out of the ones I've seen, and really, there's not a huge amount of BLs I've watched that I've definitely not enjoyed. I would say there's 4 that I wouldn't really watch again, at least. But if I'm going to narrow it down to 3, oh, there's 5 I wouldn't watch again. Interesting. So I would say the 3 would be Together, which is no surprise to anyone, let's be honest. Bedfriend and Fish Upon the Sky. They were the 3 I've probably enjoyed the least. And kind of Lovely Writer and Kin Porsche, although I wouldn't probably watch them again either, I did like them slightly more, so I'm more likely to watch them again. There were definitely aspects in both of those series that I really, really loved and also didn't love. So it's kind of a love-hate relationship with both of those. But with Together, Bedfriend and Fish Upon the Sky, there was way more of the disliking than the liking. If I had to watch one of them again and I had no choice, Bedfriend is the shortest. I think it would have to be Fish Upon the Sky, because although it wasn't my best introduction to Pond-Puin, I do really like Pond-Puin a lot, and I like Neo Lewis, and they're in that too. I will never turn down an opportunity to see Neo again. I really loved his character in Fish Upon the Sky. Mix was in it too. Mix is always lovely to see on screen in any of his roles. So I feel like in terms of the cast, in terms of the story and things like that, I feel like Fish Upon the Sky would be the one I would be most able to rewatch, and probably the one I dislike the least out of the 3. My job, I work for a charity helpline, so the charity I work for, which I'm not going to name, they support people with disabilities. And I work on the helpline giving advice. So it could be that someone with a disability calls me. It could be someone like a family member, a carer. Sometimes I take calls and emails from social workers, health professionals like doctors, the police, lots of different types of people that need advice or information about a range of things. It can be social care, it can be how to get diagnosis for certain disabilities, it can be mental health support, benefits, housing, all of these different things, basically a wide variety, education, a wide variety of things. They can call up for advice or send an email, and I am one of the people that answers. And I provide advice about all those different things. I've been working there for a few years now, and I love it. It's such a rewarding job. Yeah, that's what I do. Favorite OSTs? Ooh. One is the OST from Love by Chance. It's a really catchy, upbeat, sweet song, and it's got just a really catchy chorus to it. Another one is Until We Meet Again. I love both the OST that's actually used and the one that's sung by the cast. I love both of those as well. The OST for Light on Me is one of the best OSTs I've ever heard as well. I listen to that still on a regular basis, and I had it on repeat while I was watching the series. And I would say, as of today, today OnlyFriends episode 1 came out. I love the OnlyFriends OST as well. So that's 4 that I absolutely love. There's definitely more that I've probably forgotten, but they're the ones that kind of spring to mind. There is a song from Vice Versa that I still listen to, but I don't know if it's the OST or not. It's called it's called Have I Found from Vice Versa. I don't know if it's the OST or not, but this one, Have I Found by C, I love it. I love it so much. It's such a beautiful song, and I have spammed that on repeat as well. Can you put together an alternative life based on the shows you've watched? What universe would you like to live in? What character would you like to be? What character would you like to be your best friend? And which love story would be perfect for you? Wow, an interesting question. It doesn't say the BLs, so I could count like Midnight Museum and The Gifted in this, right? It's funny because all the cool ones would be kind of dangerous, no? It's super difficult because there's every time I narrow it down to one, there's massive drawbacks to it. I would say potentially the universe I would want to live in is Until We Meet Again / Between Us, because I love the idea that your soulmate can be like tied to you and you can find them again in another life. That's like some next level romance shit. So I'm very tempted to say that. So if I lived in Until We Meet Again, the character I would like to be uh some of them go through a really rough time, no? Probably Manao. She gets a really sweet love story. Who would you like to be your best friend? Palm. He is so caring and kind, and he's a good cook, and he's very sweet, and just in general, I think he would be a great bestie. And what love story would be perfect for you? Again, I picked Manao because like her love story is the most simple and sweet, right? The other ones I was thinking about, like Never Let Me Go, if I did that. The character I would like to be, again, there's not many good choices, are there? I feel like Ben is the only reasonable choice, no? He suffers the least. What character would you like to be your best friend? Palm. I feel like Palm would be a reliable and dependable good friend. And the love story that would be perfect for me, Ben Chopper. You know I love Ben Chopper. And there's something about the idea of like the way that they kind of grew closer together. And then the other one was Not Me. The character I would like to be, probably White. I like the idea of trying to infiltrate a group of people and then falling in love with one of them and finding that you actually kind of fit in and you want to, help. I think that's kind of cool. The bestie would probably be Yok. Graham is a very close second, but I think Yok would be best. And the love story that would be perfect for me is obviously Shaun White. I love their romance so much. I used to be the kind of person that had like very set big goals. for what I wanted. You know, like everyone, there's a lot of milestones that people think you need to hit in order to be successful in life, like getting, you know, being able to drive, having your own car, having your own house, getting married, getting a dog, having kids. These are all kind of big milestones in life that people kind of measure their success by. And actually, I've kind of learned over the years that you don't need to do any of those things in order to be happy or be successful. So I've kind of reevaluated what I want my goals to be. One of the big things that I really want to do at the moment is go to a Stray Kids concert. That is a huge deal for me because I struggle to leave the house even to go to a doctor's appointment, and our doctor's surgery is a 5-minute drive down the road. I've currently, as of today, I've gone, I want to say 3 months without leaving the house, maybe 2 months without leaving the house. And the last time I did leave, it was for a medical reason. So I don't really go out very much. So the idea of getting to anywhere where there's going to be a Stray Kids concert, even if it was in England, it would be very near unachievable for me. So I don't know if it's ever going to happen, and I wouldn't be able to go alone, and I don't know anyone who would go with me except for like online friends. So that's a challenge in and of itself. Really, it feels unattainable, but it's definitely a dream that I have, is to see them live. I would love to see Stray Kids live. I'm not a big fan, as you know, of obsessing over stats and numbers and things to do with the channel. I've always said, you know, even if there's only one person that watches my videos and enjoys them, that's enough for me. But recently, I have been kind of hoping that at some point I might hit 1,000 subscribers. It's something that I've said multiple times, at least 2, if not 3 or more times, to one of my friends, that it's never going to happen. I think somewhere around the 200 subscriber mark, the 400, the 500, kind of around those sort of times. I've said there's no way I'll ever get 1,000 subscribers. That's just insane. There's no way that many people would ever want to look at my face. But we are kind of getting close to that now. I'm currently somewhere around the 850 mark or something. So it's actually starting to look a little bit achievable. It'll still, like, you know, it'll take me a while. It's definitely a goal or a dream kind of thing. But it's something that I've been thinking about, that I would be really happy if I was able to hit that. So that's definitely on the list as well. And really at the moment that's all I've got. So I'm quite happy at the moment, honestly. Valorant is the main one I play. It's been out for about 3 years now, and I've played it since it first came out. It's a first-person shooter, which is one of my preferred style of games. There's 5 people on each team. Each character has their own abilities and certain things that they can do, and one team is the attacking side that have to plant the spike, and the other team have to defend, and it's competitive and it's a little bit toxic, but it's great. I really enjoy it. At the moment, I'm also playing 7 Days to Die, which is a zombie survival game. I'm playing that with one of my online friends. That's really fun. We play Power Wash Simulator together. Doesn't that sound riveting? But every time a new DLC comes out for Power Wash Simulator, she sends it to me and she's like, we must. We have been summoned. So we load it up and we do the new Power Wash jobs. So we're up to date with that. My favourite games of all time, though, I don't play them very often because they're single-player games, but I love them to death. Child of Light is a single-player game. It's story-based. The art style is beautiful. It's very emotional. It's got an amazing soundtrack as well. I've actually got it on CD. Amazing soundtrack. Another favorite game, which is another single player kind of story driven character based game, is Spiritfarer. Single player, beautiful art style again, very chill, very similar in a lot of ways to Child of Light, except Child of Light has turn-based combat. So there is combat and fighting in it, whereas Spiritfarer doesn't. It's completely story driven. Spiritfarer is one of the only video games that's made me cry. The first time I played that game, I bawled my eyes out. Potentially, as much as I cried in Tale of a Thousand Stars, I sobbed so much. But it's a very beautiful game with a very beautiful message and some of the best dialogue that I've ever read in a game, honestly. Words of wisdom kind of everywhere. I love it. And I've been thinking of replaying it soon as well, so. And Stardew Valley is the third that I always say my top three games of all time: Child of Light, Spiritfarer, and Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley is very chill, it's very popular, a lot of people know it. It's kind of a top-down-ish kind of game where you have a little farm and you plant and there's villages and you can date and get married, and there's like a mine that you can go exploring in, and it's very chill game. I like it a lot. But yeah, people who have me added on Discord will know that I almost exclusively play Valorant. My favourite trope, I mean, you guys, it's not really a trope, but you guys know I love the good boy thing. It started with Until We Meet Again. Dean, his name Dean. It's been so long since I watched it. It was his main way of comforting Palm, was to say good boy. And I don't know, it just unlocked the praise kink in me or something. I don't know. Ever since then, every time I hear it, I'm just like, I like that as a thing. So I like the good boy thing. I like the trope of someone having a nightmare. Like they're staying in the same bed and one of them's having a nightmare and becoming agitated, and the other one comforts them. And the person having the nightmare calms down and just cuddles up to them. We had it in Until We Meet Again. We had it in. We've had a lot of things now. Had it in Love in the Air. We maybe had it in Love by Chance, I don't remember. We definitely had it in Not Me, because that was one of the first things that I noticed. I was like, okay, I really like this as a trope. We had it in The Eclipse. We had it in Between Us. But in Between Us, it was a regular thing. And I loved that because I knew that I loved it as a trope. We've seen it a lot. It was in Bed Friend. It's been in a lot of different things. What other tropes do I like? Guys, what tropes do I like? Someone tell me. I feel like you guys know better than I do, no? It's difficult to explain, but like very gentle, subtle hand holding, like like when the pinkies touch. So the main ones I'm thinking of are like in My School President when they link pinkies. Hidden Agenda did it very recently in the library scene. They just kind of brushed their hands up against each other like this. Cherry Magic when they kind of started holding hands in that. The Eighth Sense when they're walking along and they just like slowly start to hold hands. Stuff like that where it's very subtle, it's very slow, and they're just kind of near each other and then their hands just kind of, you know, like they either touch or they link up and they hold hands, something like that. I like that quite a lot. I've seen it a few times and I like that. Yes. And remember I said I don't look too much into actors or the industry and all that stuff. So I don't know. There's some actors that I'm going to mention that I know for a fact people don't like and they say this person's problematic. I'm not saying that these actors are good people. I honestly don't know. And to a certain extent, I don't care. When I'm answering this question, really what it comes down to is even the ones that I absolutely love to see, it really comes down to like how I feel about seeing them on screen. Like almost all of the actors I think I'm going to mention, I've liked every single role they've played, and that's why I get excited to see them in something, is because I just know that I'm going to like whatever character they play. It's got nothing to do with, you know, if they're good people or not, or if they've been in any drama or scandals. It's completely down to their acting skill, sometimes how attractive they are, a combination of the both. The main ones that I can think of, Neo, 100% is probably the closest I will come to say that I stan an actor. I've yet to see him in anything I don't like. He's very versatile. If you think about him as Up in Vice Versa, and that kind of silly goofiness. You get that in Fish Upon the Sky as well, very silly, goofy, very loud, very confident and boisterous. And then you compare it to Khan from The Eclipse, who was insecure and quiet and shy and hesitant and questioning kind of himself. And he was just such a sweetheart. I love Khan so much. And then you compare it to OnlyFriends. Wow. He's so versatile. He's played a lot of different types of characters that they're so vastly different, and I think he nails it every time. He is very attractive to me. A lot of the time, I like him a lot. So I think if there is a series that he's in as at least a support role, like I'm gonna see him often, I would definitely watch it just because he's in it. I would say First and Cow Tongue. If they were a main pairing in something, I don't really think I would care what the plot was. People are saying like, oh, they would do well in like a Mafia BL, and I'm at that point where I'm a little bit sick of the Mafia BLs. We've seen a couple of them now, but if they did it, I would probably still watch it because it's First and Cow Tongue. So together, I would say probably the two of them. I would watch them. The two that I'm gonna say that I know people, there's gonna be people that disagree with me and think and say that they're problematic and they don't like them. The two that I'm gonna say are Perth and Shimon, and the Perth that I mean is the one that is paired with Shimon in Dangerous Romance and Never Let Me Go, the Perth from Love by Chance. And again, what it comes down to is neither of them have played a role that I do not like. The question, are there any actors, even if you didn't like the plot, you would watch the show anyway just because they're in it? Dangerous Romance is not a show I would normally pick up. It looks very stressful, it looks very emotional, it looks like a tearjerker. It's not one that I would gravitate towards normally, and the main reason I'm watching it is because Perth and Shimon are paired up in it. So I think they count, no? Because that's exactly what I'm doing with Dangerous Romance, is I'm picking it up because of them. So First and Cow Tongue as a pair, Perth and Shimon as a pair, Neo, and I think really the only other person would be potentially Pepper. And I've not seen him in much, right? I've only seen him in Star in My Mind. And he was in Our Sky 2, linked to Star in My Mind. I don't think I've really seen him in anything else. But he made such a lasting impact on me that literally as soon as I see he's in a cast, I'm just like, huh? Should I watch it? So yeah, I don't know. And he's in Dangerous Romance too, so so definitely there's a lot of actors I really love to see on the screen. I really like Jimmy C as a pair, I like Ofgun as a pair, I like Boon Prem as a pair. Santa Earth in My Only 12% were great, but in terms of actors that, yeah, I don't care what the plot is, I'll watch it just because they've got like main roles in it or anything. It's gonna be those people: First Cow, Neo, Perth Shimon, and potentially Pepper. And that is it. That was the last question. Thank you so much to everyone who sent something in. I hope it has been nice learning a little bit more about me. And I will still be recording. I've still got to record the K-pop reaction video, which has a lot of stuff in it. That's gonna be a project. But yeah, thank you again, and I will see you guys in the next video. Alright, that's it for now. Bye!